see. Okay, all right. Shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I do give all honor and all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rikah Wadash. Next, double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of Great Millstone, from whom I've learned this 100% truth. Salutations to the hopeful elect who are scattered in the four corners of the earth, including the speckled birds. Shalom to the sincere sisters who are listening and learning in silence and keeping the order to the best of their ability. Again, shalom. I'm Brother Kapasha, come to you once again with a brief lesson. Lord willing, this lesson will be edifying. All right, I'm gonna go right into it. This one is, somewhat of encouragement to the hopefully led. All right, it says, shine as light in the world and continue to do this work, Israel. All right, something in that order. All right. It says here, Philippians 2:12 reads, wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling, for it is the Most High power which worketh in you both to the will and to do of his good pleasure. Do all things without murmuring and disputing, that ye may be blameless and harmless, and the sons of the Most High power without rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom ye shine as lights in the world, holding forth the word of life, that I may rejoice in the day of Mashiach, that I have not run in vain, neither labored in vain. You see? This is how we are to conduct ourselves. That's how we are to, present ourselves, even in this, in this perverse, perverse nation, crooked, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, you see? But nonetheless, we are to work out our own soul salvation, with fear and trembling. It's important, and it says here, let me go back up to it again. Wherefore, my beloved, which is the house of mourning, the house of David, the elect, you see? It says, as ye have always obeyed, we're to continue to obey, even though we're not among other brethren. You see, we're not when we're not at camp, or we're not on the phone or with another brother, chatting it up. We're to continue to be in order, to be in line with the word of Yahweh Shai, as we've been taught. You see, wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence. See, we have to even go even harder when we're not around the brethren. Even when we're on our jobs, when we are in the supermarkets, on the road, we're not to wild out and be so emotional and selfish as to want to have our own way. Let's say someone cut you off on the road. Don't bug out, or don't get so upset that you're gonna flip the bird at them, so cussing and fussing and getting all heated up, and then you end up getting in a worse situation, such as an accident. Don't be that kind of person. You see, you're not really in line with this word, with this truth. You see, you acting that way. You putting on an act. If you around the brother, and then you in order, you quiet, and all those kind of things. You see, it says here, wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. We're supposed to always have Yahweh Ba'ashem, our Shai, and fearing him, and knowing that he sees everything, because he has his angels. His angels eyes are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. Let me get that scripture real quick. That's in Sirach 23:19, I do believe. Let me get it real quick. Because the eyes of the Lord is always recorded. They don't go away. They don't get tired. They don't get weak. It says here, they don't have to sleep. They don't have to eat. They don't eat. All right, it says here, Ecclesiasticus, known as Sirach, and it reads, 23:19, reads, such a man only feareth the eyes of men, and knoweth not that the eyes of the Lord are 10,000 times brighter than the sun. You see, beholding all the ways of men, and considering the most secret parts. You see, that's what the angels out there doing, those chariots. You see, they're always looking, they're always recording. See, it says here. Let me go back to Philippians 2:12. It says, wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not in my presence only, but now much more in my absence. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. And it reads on, it says, for it is the most high power which worketh in you to will and to do. Let me read that again. Philippians 2:13, for it is the most high power which worketh in you both to will and to do of his good pleasure. You know, the Lord, when we are being obedient to the word of Yahweh Shem Al Shai, we're not walking in all in our emotions, getting all upset about simple, trite, little things, That's the Most High working in you when you keep your emotion in check. You see, when things don't go your way, when you can't, when things don't work out, you don't lose it. You see, that's the will of the Most High working in you to will and to do His good pleasure. You see, doing what's right. You see, continue praying, studying, and fasting, and things of that nature on your weaknesses. We all have weaknesses. We all suffer infirmities in our bodies, in our minds, some of us. You see, have short tempers. We have to be temperate. You see, we have to pray for patience. You see, we have to pray for the things that we encounter in this world. Among these, this crooked and perverse nation that we are among, and it reads on, it says, 14 reads, do all things without murmuring and disputing. See, keep doing this work. You see, don't allow the spiritual demon Satan or anybody or the physical counterpart or your loved ones or anything to keep you from doing this work. Don't get tired. We're at the end of this thing now. It says here, do all things without murmuring and disputing, that ye may be blameless. Don't go to complaining all the time. You see, man up, be a man, have some patience. You see, you got to be mature in this thing. You got to continue to grow in this truth. You see, it says here, 15, it says, let me read 14. Do all things without murmuring and disputing. Don't be argumentative. You see, don't be somewhat comparing yourself with another brother or try to outdo another brother. None of those kind of things, man. Let that childish stuff go. It says here, 15 reads, that ye may be blameless and harmless. You see, that's how you want to be. You want to be meek, and you want to be mild. You want to be an upstanding brother. You see, in this truth, it says here, and let me read that again. 15, it says, that ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of the Most High Power without rebuke. See, you don't be one of those kind of guys that's always having contention with with another brother about one thing or another. You see? And you don't need to be one of those kind of guys that's often rebuked, have to be corrected all the time about the same things. That's where is that scripture? Often rebuked. A brother that's often rebuked. Let me get that real quick. Let's see. Bible scripture, a brother often rebuked. Where is that at? Proverbs 21. Oh yeah, there it is. I had that. I did a lesson on that, I do believe. That was one of my precepts one time. It says here, let me get it. Proverbs 29:1. A brother that's often rebuked. Let's get it. You all right? Hold on. I'm gonna find it real quick, Lord willing. Often rebuked. Proverbs 29:1. Good scripture. This is a good scripture here. Proverbs 29:1. It reads here. It says here, he that being often rebuked harden his neck shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. A brother that's hard-headed, stiff-necked, continue to have to get on him about one thing, have to be rebuked all the time. You see, that guy's going to be destroyed. You don't want to be that. That's not working out your own salvation with fear and trembling. You see, don't be that kind of guy. It says here. Let me read 15 again. It says Philippians 2:15 reads, that ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of the Most High Power, without rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation. Because we are among heathens, and we are among unbelievers, 2/3 of our people. They just as bad in a lot of cases. You see, it says here, the ninjas, you see, and you got a wicked ass Eve, things of that nature. You got to deal with stuff like that and people like that. You see? All right, it says here, let me read 15 one more time. It says Philippians 2:15, that ye may be blameless and harmless, the sons of the Most High Power, without rebuke, in the midst of a crooked and perverse nation, among whom ye shine as lights in the world. See, when we do what's pleasing to the Lord and fear Yahweh Shem Shai, you're going to stand out. You're going to be, you're going to be as a light that shines in this dark world. This world is dark. This world loves darkness too. You see? And it says here, holding forth the word of life. You see, that I may rejoice in the day of Mashiach. This is Paul talking to the Philippians. You see, that I have not run in vain, neither labored in vain. And we don't want to be the ones that running in vain and labor in vain, being out there on the highways and the hedges, and then all these years, and they end up becoming a bug out or a fallout and things of that nature, could become an agent, apostate. This is this year was coined by the elder apostle Tahab. Apostate, sellouts, agents, and Jacob's trouble. You see? So you don't want to be that one that fall out of this truth. So do this thing, as beloved brothers should do, and work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. The Lord won't forget your labor of love. Let me get that, and I'm ending on that. The Lord won't forget your labor of love, because, you're edifying. You being a true brother. You fearing Yahweh Shem Shai. Where is that? Labor of Lord won't forget your labor of love. 6:10. Hebrews 6:10, I do believe. And then I'm going to end it right there. It says here, Hebrews 6:10, for the Most High is not unrighteous to forget your work and labor of love, which ye have showed toward his name, in that ye have ministered to the saints and do ministers. You see? Minister. See, this is what you're doing. As you work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. You see? You're ministering. You're doing this work. All right? So with that, I'm going to end it right there. Before I end it, I must give all honor and all praises to Yahweh Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Hashem, Rekah HaKadosh. Next, double honors to the elder apostles and bishops, a great millstone from whom I've learned this word and said truth. Salutations to the hopeful elect who are scattered in the four corners of the earth, including the speckled birds. Shalom to the sincere sisters who are listening and learning in silence and keeping the order to the best of their ability. Again, shalom.